Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to the Hard Facts. I'm Anand Narsimhan. We continue to focus on Bihar. The storm over the Bihar voter roll revision refuses to settle, with the opposition camp still claiming that the exercise so close to the elections is aimed at disenfranchising poor voters, namely from the minority community or the Muslim votes. And of course, they'll break the Hindu faction into castes and look at the Dalits and the OBCs, etc., the backward castes. But as per reports, the Election Commission has flagged the presence of foreign nationals in the voter rolls, foreign nationals from Nepal, Bangladesh and Myanmar, hinting at Rohingya. But now with the submission of the enumeration forms running smoothly on ground, the Election Commission has said that over 83% or 6.6 crore of the 7.89 crore electorate will be included in the draft electoral roll. But the forms collected are nearly 89%. So where is the remaining 6%? Let's try and understand that. 1.59% of the total voters have been identified as deceased. 2.2% of the voters have been permanently shifted from their registered locations. And a further 0.73% of the voters have been found to be registered in multiple places, that is duplicate, leading to the removal of their duplicate entries. Hence, 35 lakh voter names will be removed from Bihar's electoral roll under the ongoing special intensive revision process. 11.82% of the electorate, or over 93 lakh voters, are yet to return the forms with 11 days to go. And this is for the deadline for stage 1. The Election Commission is hoping to complete the process before the deadline. 2 rounds of door-to-door visits have already been carried out by booth-level officers. Over 1 lakh booth-level officers are all geared up to begin the 3rd round of visits. 1.5 lakh booth-level agents of political parties are also providing assistance, while over 5,600 wards of 261 urban local bodies will have special camps. The NDA has maintained that the voter list must be robust so that the opposition can't raise doubts if the elections don't go their way. Like it was made a hue and cry about enfranchisement of voters in Maharashtra. The courts have rejected it, but the opposition continues to harp on it, especially Mr. Rahul Gandhi. But now even an NDA ally, the TDP, has questioned the mechanism of the process. The TDP has said that the exercise should not be conducted within 6 months of any major election, and that it should be made clear that it is not related to citizenship verification. On the other hand, BJP in Assam has said that no, link it with NRC. Link it with citizenship because it is important, especially when you come to the Assam SIR. Now, despite the political noise, the process is continuing on ground, even with the aid from booth-level agents of several parties. तो सबके कार्यकर्ता ग्राउंड पे लगे हुए हैं. We have to say that, be it BJP, be it JDU, be it RJD, be it Congress, be it the left parties, be it AIMM, everybody's karyakartas are helping voters make it into the voter list or complete the formalities. Question remains to maintain the integrity of the process and to keep foreign nationals out of the voter rolls. Why is there an opposition to this entire cleanup when the charges of disenfranchisement have no aadhar? Some interesting numbers. Now, the 2020 elections also saw an interesting game of margins. In 2020, the victory margin was less than 1% in 17 seats, where the BJP won 3, the JDU won 7, RJD won 5 and the Congress won 2. In 26 constituencies, the win margin was between 1% and 2.5%, where the BJP won 5, JDU won 6, RJD won 9 and the Congress won 6. In 26 constituencies, the win margin also between 2.5% to 5%, where the BJP won 8, JDU won 4, RJD won 12 and the Congress won 2. So you see the numbers are inclined in favor of the MGB in a lot of these cases. Then 55 seats saw margins between 5 to 10%, where the BJP won 20. Here the BJP's numbers go up, where the BJP won 23, JDU won 12, RJD won 18, Congress won 2. 87 seats saw a win margin of over 10%, where BJP won 35, JDU won 14, RJD won 31 and Congress won 7. So who is winning in the close contests? In the pursuit of cleansing the voter rolls, are political calculations so close to elections being threatened. That's the larger question. Is this hue and cry because this margin of votes was so clear, so close, in close contest? So if these 35 lakhs are now erased, who's going to benefit, who's going to hurt, or is it not going to make a difference at all? Shehzad Poonawalla, National Spokesperson of the BJP with us, Ravi Shankar Ravi, Spokesperson of the RJD with us, Dr. Anand Ranganathan and Sanjay Jha back will also be joining us. My namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very, very much. Shehzad Poonawalla.
Yes.
35 lakhs are already not there. Now, these 35 lakhs should not have been there in the voter list of 2024 also. So, why do it now and why didn't you do it before 2024?
That is a good question that you should address to the Election Commission of India. But having said that, Anand, let me ask you a question. You have hired somebody 2 years ago on the basis that he has cleared 10th standard exam, 12th standard exam. He does very well in the channel. 6 months later, you have done a survey that let us see if the documents given are fine. It's just 6 months before. And you find out that yes, this man has given the fake documents and taken a job at CNN. So will you then allow him to continue in the CNN News 18 office? Or whenever you get to know, you will remove him? Anand is smiling. His smile is endorsement for me. Yes, some people will want that those 12.5 lakh dead people should vote. There are some people who want that 17.5 lakh people who have left Bihar should vote. Some people, they will want that 5.5 lakh people who have double vote should also vote. They will also want that the Ghuspetias should vote. They will also want that Nepalis, Rohingyas should vote. Because for them, Ghuspetia and Bhari is above Bihari. For them, Sharia is above Samvidhan. Today, Anand, I am asking you that if the entire thing is so, dangerous, the process, why did the Supreme Court not put a stay on it? Secondly, what did the Supreme Court say? There is a constitutional mandate, legal mandate that the Election Commission has. Point number 3, I want to ask that is there a good cutting of votes and bad cutting of votes? Because when the Congress party, and let me tell you, they wanted 22 lakh votes cut in Telangana, something Anand picks up in every debate. Then they wanted 45 lakh votes cut in Rajasthan. They wanted 40 lakh votes cut in Madhya Pradesh. They wanted 40 lakh votes cut in Andhra Pradesh because these were fake voters. That time ये सब जो है वो संस्कारी और चमत्कारी है. और आज जो हो रहा है वो गुनहगारी है. और अभी वोट कटा नहीं है किसी का. What is this exercise? The Article 326 says only a citizen of India should vote. The citizen has to vote, not an outsider. That is now, out of the 7.9 crore voters, about 5 crore voters don't even have to submit a document because there are 2003 voters already. So remaining voters have to just submit one of the 11 documents. In 2003, how many documents were there? 3 documents. Was Aadhaar there? And now, last point, Aadhaar should be there with the voting. In 2021-22, and Anand will also tell you this in more detail, when only the voting should be done and should be linked with Aadhaar. That means if you go to the voter booth and you show your Aadhaar, you should be allowed to vote. That voluntary linking, when we were asking for, that time there was an opposition by Congress where they said that Aadhaar is not even proof of citizenship, which is true. And today they want that the Aadhaar should become the basis of determining citizenship, on the basis of which you should have right. In 2022, they went to Supreme Court to say that Aadhaar and voting should not be connected in any way. So I want to ask that, is there good Aadhaar and bad Aadhaar, or are you just Niradhar? And finally, what is this language against the institutions of constitution? Mr. Tejasvi Yadav, we know he has no respect for parliament, कि वो law टोकरी में डालना चाहते हैं. We know he only loves Sharia and the Waqf Old Act. But what is this सूत्र को मूत्र बोलना? There is a tweet of Lalu Prasad Yadav कि अति विश्वास सूत्र ने बताया है कि मोदी और अमित शाह रिजाइन करने वाले हैं. तो वो सूत्र मूत्र था या ये केवल सूत्र जो उनको पसंद नहीं वो मूत्र होता है? और अभी तो 88% फॉर्म कलेक्ट हो गया है. तो बताइए कि अगर कोई साथ नहीं दे रहा है तो कैसे 88% फॉर्म कलेक्ट हो गया?
See, I'll tell you, Shehzad Poonawalla, before I open up to the other panelists to also make their rebuttals and their opinions, that the Aadhaar for an argument can change over a period of time.
Just like it
the argument for Aadhaar can also change over a period of time. Correct. It is possible. Because
this is a party without any Jan Aadhaar.
Because
this is party without Jan Aadhaar.
Here, see, I'll tell you what. The Aadhaar for calling a Neta corrupt changed moment the Aadhaar when the Neta's Aadhaar for joining the BJP happened. So that is also possible.
Look,
so what was said in Parliament or what was said 2 years, 3 years back,
there was no Aadhaar for seeing that person is corrupt before, but there was Aadhaar later. But now, I just want to ask,
the same way the Aadhaar for a caste census survey was different. when Litish Babu was not there in the UPA. Then when he moved to the other side, to the Indie bloc, the Aadhaar for a caste census survey changed. For the BJP also it changed. So these things can change. But interesting, let me ask you this question. And the opposition must not have seen this number. The 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the overall margin for victory between the NDA and the Indie bloc, or the India Alliance, India bloc or the India Alliance, that's how I should say it, was little under 35 lakhs. What's the number of votes that have been rejected right now? 35 lakhs. So ये vote किसको पड़े?
No. Are you suggesting that people?
So I'm just saying
are you suggesting
that the NDA polled 2 crore 51 lakh, 2 crore, 2 crore 5 lakh 13,015 votes, and the Indie bloc, Indie Alliance, they polled 1 crore 70 lakh, 5,000 something votes. That's what they had polled.
No, but I am presuming that none of these 35 lakh people should have voted even if their name was on the voter list, because it was illegal for them to vote. But having said that, my only question to Mr. Ravi is, Ravi ji, ye bataiye, 2003 the SIR took place, there was no Aadhaar. So that time the entire SIR activity which was done, and the state government was of a non-NDA government, it was a wrong SIR exercise? Because there was no Aadhaar.
No, at that time there were 3 documents. Now there are 11 documents. So the Aadhaar for the documents has also changed. You can pun on the word, so can I, Shehzad Poonawala. But Ravishankar Ravi ji, अब जैसे 2024 में वोट का अंतर 35 लाख का था, difference between Indie bloc, Indie गठबंधन and also the NDA, 2020 के चुनाव में 11,150 वोट का डिफरेंस था. तो 2020 के चुनाव में यही 30 लाख वोट किसको पड़े?
सबसे पहले मैं शहजाद जी ने जो बोला कि 2003 में तो आधार नहीं था, भाई अब उस वक्त जो इंटेंसिव रिव्यू हुआ, तो 2003 से लेके 2024 तक के जो इलेक्शंस हुए वो तो उसी पे हुए ना. अब उसमें जो भी जीता, जो भी हारा, ये उतना इंपॉर्टेंट कंसर्न नहीं है. द कंसर्न इज व्हेन यू कॉल एन एक्सरसाइज स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिव्यू एंड हाउ इट इज बीइंग कंडक्टेड. फॉर्म्स आर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड, देयर इज नो रिसीविंग व्हिच इज गिवन without signature, or somehow they are being collected. If you have to collect this way, then even 1 week is more than enough. You can collect 100% form. In summary revision, before every election, addition and deletion takes place. People who migrate, people who die, their names are deleted. So that is not an important thing. The important thing is when you do a spatial intensive review, what is intensive in this? You say there is oversaturation of Aadhaar in so many places. Fine, Aadhaar is fake. The documents listed in the notification of Election Commission, the 11 documents, some of them or many of them are issued on the basis of Aadhaar. That ways, those documents are also fake. No. On the basis of that, when you make an electoral roll, what kind of an electoral roll is that? Is that intensive? And all this is happening because the diligent due process is not taking place. It is being conducted in very haste, And at the ground, different kinds of reports are coming. 190 BLOs, their salaries have been stopped. One BDO has resigned. FIR has been lodged against one journalist. So what is happening at the ground? I think this is not intensive. Intensive should be done. And then what about those? See, from where did this debate started? Intruders, Ghuspetia, Bangladeshi, Myanmar, Nepalese. Now, when the Aadhaar is fake and other documents is also fake, issued on the basis of Aadhaar, and if they are there in the electoral roll, how will you cull them out, the intruders? So this entire thing is intended to create a chaos, and a chaos has already taken place.
Go.
Now, the names which will not be there in the draft list, electoral roll, which is going to be published after, I think, on 1st of August. So many people, their names will not be there. They will file petition. They will file complaint. Another level of chaos. Then you resolve this. And what about those who do not have any documents? So, see, this is interesting. At one level, just 10 seconds more, Anand.
No,
At
please
one
take
level, you have documents which are which are in a way fake because they have been issued on the basis of Aadhaar. So a flawed electoral roll. On the other hand, there are people who are extremely poor, marginalized, who have no education, therefore no documents. So how would you include and how can you call this process an intensive review?
Sir, you know, this is a classic, with due respect to you. I keep saying if and therefore, maybe and therefore, what if and therefore. You can't make suppositions and then draw conclusions and say that is quadrilateral demonstrandum. That's not the case. Sir, Ravi Shankar Raviji, then I can say, when you look, sir, now I didn't interrupt, I heard you out, now you please hear me out. ये लॉजिक कहाँ से बढ़ाएंगे आप मुझे बताइए. आप अपने घर के, एक बार सुनिए तो सही, आप अपने घर के खिड़की से झांकते नीचे बहुत ट्रैफिक दिख रहा है. चलिए भाई मैं गाड़ी नहीं निकालूंगा क्योंकि ट्रैफिक होगा. मैं भी ट्रैफिक को क्यों ऐड करूं, मेरी गाड़ी जाने से ट्रैफिक और ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, तो मैं गाड़ी नहीं निकालूंगा. दूसरी बार आप खुला देखते हैं खाली सड़क है, सड़क खाली है लेकिन मैं गाड़ी निकालूंगा तो फिर गाड़ी पे सड़क पे गाड़ी आ जाएगी, फिर ट्रैफिक दिखेगा तो फिर भी मैं गाड़ी नहीं निकालूंगा. तो मैं गाड़ी क्यों लूं, क्योंकि जब भी मैं गाड़ी निकालूंगा तब ट्रैफिक होगा. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ लॉजिक you're पुलिंग. You know, if and therefore and therefore, no, that cannot be. You give us a case, let there be a case where a particular person says, I have the valid papers, I have the right to vote, my name is on the voter list, but I have not been able to vote. This has happened in so many cases. In elections now, Shehzad Poonawalla was listing out in Congress ruled areas where the Congress party came to power, or even where the BJP is not in power, let's say not Congress. The voter list has been struck off. 20 lakh people, 30 lakh people, 40 lakh people, 50 lakh people have been struck off the voter list. At that time, there was no hangama. Now, why specifically in this case, because of Bihar and before Bihar, 3-4 months before Bihar, it's happening in July, elections are sometime in October. Why is the problem? End of October, early November elections, supposedly, it's not even decided yet. So where is the problem?
Just 5 seconds. Mr. Ravi has said, and Ravi is one
Sanjay
of the...
Jha and Anand Ranganathan
yes, I'm so sorry.
officers.
Ravi is one of the most more articulate and eloquent spokesperson of RJD. He said that Aadhaar is required for making the 11 documents that have been enumerated in this
Not
list.
11.
One second. Sir, I did not interrupt
many
you.
of them.
One second, sir. You have said Aadhaar is the basis of these documents. Please tell me, and I think, I thought at least you would know, in birth certificate you require Aadhaar. In caste certificate, you require Aadhaar. In forest rights certificate, you require Aadhaar. I am shocked that the RJD spokesperson doesn't have basic knowledge. These documents become a basis for making Aadhaar, not the vice versa. And please, if you, Anand Ranganathan or Sanjay Jha or you, show me that in birth certificate you require Aadhaar, I will change my name. How can you have birth certificate made on this?
He said many, he didn't say all 11. You counted 3. Now, दोनों.
अच्छा आप मुझे बता दो इसमें से कौन से में आधार चाहिए बता दो.
My point is any one of these documents. Bihar में we had this conversation. Sanjay Jha ji was there yesterday also. In one thing he was also saying, it's not education and having papers or documents is not directly correlated. Dr. Ranganathan, please. Lend me your ears and some more patience because we'll go to Sanjay Jha ji and then I'll come to you. Yes, Sanjay ji.
Anand, good evening, and I'm glad we are having a conversation where I think we are not butting into each other when each one is speaking, because this is a serious issue. And I want to make a couple of observations. Number one, the matter will be decided by the Supreme Court hopefully shortly, but definitely before the elections are held. And let's start first with what the Supreme Court's observations have indicated. Number one, that why was the Election Commission not accepting certain documents as proof of the individual's requirement to be an elector, has been questioned by the Supreme Court, which is exactly what we have been asking for, which is accept Aadhaar, accept ration cards, accept the Manrega job cards, etc., etc. The second point is the timing. And, Anand, we had a wonderful program yesterday and I think you anchored it brilliantly. I need to congratulate you for it. Very often you and I are at loggerheads. But I do feel that there is an important point that both Pawan made, and I will repeat it again for the benefit of your viewers. This is a complex task and a question that the Election Commission needs to answer. I don't think the BJP or its supporters need to answer it. As to why has not a special investigation of the polls or the SIRs as they are called, why were they not held since 2003 till now? It's 21 years. And frankly, if you go by the Election Commission's declaration, that rapid urbanization has happened, migrants have gone out of the state, death registrations have not been properly accounted for, there may be foreign illegal immigrants. Yes, why not? There are issues they have raised. And the question that anybody will ask, why was the Election Commission sleeping for 22 years? When, if you look at the track record, Anand, I'm sure you know that data, there were so many of these SIRs done till 2003. Which begs the question, which is what the Supreme Court has said, that if you were going to do this entire exercise, why would you announce that on June 24th? And by the way, between June 24th and the closure date of June 25, the Election Commission has expected the Bihar infrastructure to deliver on print the forms, distribute the forms, train the people, make sure they are filled, collected, and then have a double verification. I mean, I know how even private sector, the most efficient of them work.
Right.
For this magnitude of task to be completed within 1 month, I think even the task of distribution and training would take 1 month on its own. So
Right.
here is my fundamental point,
Right.
that this whole timing is bizarre because the Election Commission is a permanent institutional body. And if it knew that Bihar elections are going to happen in November,
Right.
they should have done it, actually, in my opinion, 6 months earlier.
Right.
In that case, the entire panic, that apprehension, which is very legitimate, would not have occurred.
Right.
And my last point,
Okay,
my last point.
Ji.
By the logic of the Election Commission, Anand, and I think your viewers, because I'm assuming all your viewers are very discerning and perceptive people, I want to tell this to the viewers of your channel today, that according to the Election Commission, ladies and gentlemen who are watching the program, the people in Bihar who have voted, as Ravi ji was correctly pointing out, in the 5 Lok Sabha elections that have happened since 2003 and the 5 assembly elections that have happened since then, they are no longer, according to the Election Commission, citizens. They are no longer registered voters if they are not able to satisfy the Election Commission today before July 25th with the necessary documentation.
Okay.
That makes all the elections of the past invalid, illegal, and subject to scrutiny. We are in a laughable state of affairs, honestly.
Right. Again, some if and when and some contradictions, Sanjay ji, and I respectfully would like to submit this. If you say
Fair enough. Go ahead and tell me.
between June 24 to June 25, time is not enough to print the paper and to train the cadre, then you turn around and ask, why did you do it in June? Why didn't you do it in April or in Jan? Then you are contradicting yourself. The Election Commission, if they cannot prepare in 1 year, how could they have done it in less than 1 year?
I said 6 months earlier.
Sir, वही मैं
How
कह
can
रहा
you
हूँ.
do all this in 1 month?
Sir,
By the way, let me tell you, not even India's most effective private sector company can do this.
Correct, sir. But the
Forget
point
the government.
Point is, sir, 2003, when the first time the digitization had happened, they conducted the exercise of SIR in Bihar in 30 days at that time. It happened in 30 days then, it is happening in 30 days now. It took 2 years across the country. It's going to take 2 years across the country now because we are such a vast and complex federal structure and we are Bharat. But in one state, it took only the same amount of time. Other thing is, in 1 year, June 24 to June 25, in 1 year, they have understood because where did the opposition complain in Maharashtra? Voter list mein gadbad hai. What did Tejasvi Yadav say? Voter list mein gadbad hai. Everybody turned around and said, voter list mein gadbad hai, isko thik karo. So Election Commission said, okay, let's do an SIR because everybody has the same concern. Now, if karo to mare, nahi kare to mare, that cannot be the case. The other thing is, sir, 2003 mein 63% of the current voter list is part of 2003 list. So they are not disenfranchised. No questions are being asked of them. The actual scrutiny overall which will happen is about everybody is being asked to submit. But if they have a 2003 registered voter ID card and if they are the progeny or if they are the children next of kin of somebody who had a voter ID card in 2003, they are not being questioned, sir. They just have to show lineage. That's all. But yes, Dr. Ranganathan, thank you for your patience. So all of these are there.
Yeah, good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I don't assume, I know that your viewers are discerning. What worries me is the discerning nature of some of my fellow panelists. I need to ask a couple of questions out here. The first one, very respectfully to the RJD spokesperson. Leave everything aside. It might be difficult, but not impossible. Leave politics aside, agenda aside, whatever. Whoever is wrong, BJP, Congress, RJD, whatever is wrong, Raviji. Just answer a simple question. Are you happy or are you not that around 10 lakh redundant voters have been removed from the upcoming election voter list that were dead or duplicated? Are you happy or are you not?
No, this is neither a matter
it's a
to be
simple
happy
question.
or a
See.
matter to be sad. No, see,
No, why would
I
you be
have my
sad?
opinion
Anand, you are the
on
anchor
this.
of the
Why would you be
program.
sad, sir?
I
This
don't think
is-
anybody
this-
else here should be asking questions, Anand. You are the anchor of the program.
Let him ask a question. He's
Yeah,
all of us,
no,
all of
I
us,
don't think that's
all of
fair.
us.
There is a
Okay,
format.
one
He's
minute,
trying
one
to prove a
minute. Okay,
point.
allow
No,
me,
let's-
allow him his chance.
So let
Allow
me complete.
Sanjay
I
ji,
need
Sanjay
to
ji,
respond.
give him his time. He's
Not
waited.
this guy, man.
He's waited 20.
This guy is not the anchor.
Sir, he's waited
Anand ji.
23
This guy
is
minutes
not the
patiently.
anchor.
He's only
And
asking.
Raviji, you're not obligated to
Sir,
respond.
1 minute. One
Raviji,
minute.
you are not
Why are we
obligated to
spoiling the
respond to
spirit
this
of the
guy.
debate? 1 minute, sir. What am I trying to say? He's not
That
asked.
क्यों रहा है संजय?
He's not asked a wrong question. Are we all not satisfied that these people who are redundant are off the voter list? All of us should be, right? As
You asked that question, yeah?
सर वो कोई भी
Who
पूछे
is
सर
this
वो
guy?
सर
This
वो
guy is a peddler
सर
of
ये
fake news.
okay
I'm
one
not
one
going
no
to
no
get
no no
anybody like him to
नहीं
bring my
Sanjay ji if he
fellow
asks you a
colleague
question
here.
Sanjay ji if
This
he
guy is
asks
a
you
peddler of fake
Sanjay
news.
ji if he asks you a question you are within your rights to say no comment or I would not want to answer that question. You are well within his right but he's within his right, sir. We are in a democracy. This is a democratic debate. Everybody
So I'm
should
gonna
get their
tell
say.
Raviji, he's
No,
a
no,
peddler
let
of
Ravi.
fake news. Please
He
don't
can
respond
exercise
to
his
him.
own. He can
not
exercise his own
obligated to
franchise, sir.
respond to
He
this
can
guy.
exercise. Raviji can exercise his own franchise, and he's only answering. Let him answer, and then Dr. Ranganathan, please carry on. Ji.
I admire
said
you, Anand,
that
because the
this
patience
is
you show
not a matter to
towards
be
a
happy
peddler
or
of
to be
fake
sad.
news and someone who came in.
Can we all rise above that, please?
Yeah, so
आगे
we
बढ़ते
must.
हैं. चलिए.
Yes, we must all.
Let us all agree to disagree, or let us all have a love-hate relationship with each other, but have a sane debate. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, go ahead, please.
As I said, in the
eligible
spirit of the
voters
debate, and
will be
Raviji is
included
one of the more erudite people around, unlike some other panelists. And
Raviji,
he
let Anandji make his
encourages
point. He's
interaction.
been waiting for 22
And
minutes.
that is
please.
the reason why I asked him, and I encourage him asking many questions. It was asked in good spirit, and you know that.
जी.
And he was about to answer it. बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल्ला दीवाना हो गया, उसकी मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है. Ravi ji, please continue. Are you happy or are you not at the fact that around 10 lakh dead or duplicate votes have been removed from the upcoming election?
Anandji, I said that this is not a matter to be happy or to be sad. I would just say that this is
Now,
a
why
usual
would one not
process
be-
which should happen.
Which should happen?
Eligible voters should be included.
Okay.
Ineligible voters.
Okay,
should
so
be
you agree with the
excluded.
process
This is
that
a
the
official
duds are moved out.
administrative
Okay.
bureaucratic process.
So he agrees.
What
He
is
agrees. He's got
there
no
to be
emotion, but
happy
he
or
agrees. जो
unhappy?
हुआ ठीक हुआ. जी, yeah.
And my second.
हाँ बस जरूर जाइए वो सिर्फ हाँ या ना में पूछ रहे थे उनको बोलने दीजिए सर वो बोले ही नहीं है आप यूजुअली बहुत बोलते हैं आज बोले ही नहीं है आनंद जी बोलिए
अरे भैया कोई
हाँ
प्रश्न
मैं ये
पूछता
कह
है
रहा
तो
था
उसको जवाब
पहले
भी
तो
देने
रवि
दो।
जी 2-3 जगह गलत थे. एक बार शहजाद ने उनको बताया वो गलत है. एक वो इन्होंने कहा कि बहुत सारे ऐसे सिटीजन्स हैं बिहार के या रेजिडेंट्स हैं जिनके पास कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है. इनको शायद पता ना हो कि अगर किसी इंडियन के पास कोट अनकोट कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है तो भैया ही कांट वोट. The prerequisite for voting is you must show some document in order to get on the electoral roll. Otherwise, anybody in the world can come and vote. तो आपको ये नॉलेज ही नहीं है कि वोट कौन कर सकता है. नंबर 2, बिहार की
I'll
पॉपुलेशन
come to you after you finish it. Yeah, please carry on.
Bihar ki population is more than 3 times the population of Telangana, roughly. In fact, more. Telangana is 38 million, Bihar is about 130 million. तेलंगाना में 22 लाख ऐसे कोट अनकोट डेड वोट्स हटाए गए. बिहार में अभी 35 लाख हटाए गए हैं. तेलंगाना में जब हटाए गए, it was something that everyone was happy about. Nobody wants dead or duplicated voters or voters who are not residents of that state to come and vote. That is not a free and fair election. यहां पे मैं एक बात जरूर मानूंगा, आई थिंक टीडीपी के स्पोक्स पर्सन ने ठीक कहा है कि ये एक्सरसाइज इन द स्पिरिट ऑफ गुडविल और फेयरनेस कह लीजिए, ये हर इलेक्शन से 6 महीने पहले होने चाहिए, लेकिन मैं ये जरूर कहूंगा कि ये हर इलेक्शन से 6 महीने पहले होनी चाहिए। बिकॉज ये बात भी है कि ऑफ कोर्स अगर आपका रिवीजन हुआ है तो ऑब्वियसली आपके जो रिडंडेंट वोट्स हैं वो हट जाएंगे। तो ये ब्रेन डेड लॉजिक लाना किसी पैनलिस्ट का कि पहले इलेक्शन को नल एंड वॉइड करो, इसका मतलब रिवीजन कभी हो ही नहीं सकती। लेकिन वो तो चलो अपना एजेंडा चला रहे हैं। पॉइंट इज कि रिवीजन होनी चाहिए एक सेट और मैंडेटेड टाइम फ्रेम में हर इलेक्शन से पहले, ताकि हर ऐसे वोटर्स निकले जो कि डुप्लीकेट है, जो कि डिसीज्ड है, जो कि रिडंडेंट है, वो सब हटाए जाए in order to have a free and fair election। तो ये दो बातें मैं चाहता हूं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ऐड करे। बट ओवर एंड अबव एवरीथिंग, देखिए फेयर प्ले की बात हो रही है, आई वांट टू कांग्रेचुलेट इलेक्शन कमीशन। ये घर घर से गालियां ऑपोजिशन पड़ती है, लेकिन ये वीवीपैट के सिस्टम में आपको भी पता होगा, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑल्सो थम्ब द बैक। इतना इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ और एक ऐसा केस नहीं निकला जिसपे डिस्क्रिपेंसी हो नॉन ईवीवीपैट की और वीवीपैट की। दिस इज हाउ वी ऑपरेट। और ये वही लोग हैं जो अब अपना एजेंडा चला रहे हैं। कुछ पैनलिस्ट पे आ जाते हैं, फेक न्यूज पेडलर्स हैं, मीटू मूवमेंट में आए हैं, जो भी है, लेकिन इनका वो है कल पार्टी बदल देंगे, दे विल बी सपोर्टिंग इलेक्शन कमीशन। सो यू कांट ट्रस्ट देम, यू वांट डोंट टच देम विद a comb or a barge pole. But the fact is, if you are there to have a free spirited fair debate about whether something good had happened, then removing of redundant votes is something good.
Okay. Removing of certain redundant votes is something good, that's all right. But how is it that there's not a single voice or a murmur that's come from the BJP saying, why are you doing it so close to the election, Shahzad Punawala? I'll just swing back to you. Raviji, I'll come to you. You can join,
Let me answer
counter
that question and it will take care of some of the other panelists who have raised the question.
Yeah, Sanjay ji, coming to you after that.
SIR activity started in this country by the Election Commission 1960. Do you know when first SIR intensively was done in Bihar? Take wild guess. 1988. 28 years it took them to do the first SIR. तब ठीक था. This is the discretion of Election Commission. But coming to Anand's question, Anand is absolutely right that there must be some kind of a timing or something, but that is Election Commission's discretion. I can play the devil's advocate and ask Anand ji, मान लीजिए 1 साल पहले और 2 साल पहले what RJD and others are saying कर लेते हैं, that 2 years will be enough for them to create new fake voters. इनका तो धंधा ही fake voter पर चलता है आनंद जी, आपको नहीं पता ये बूथ कैप्चरिंग और फेक वोटर में ये PhD है, बाकी जगह 9th पास होना हो। तीसरी बात, लेट मी कंप्लीट सर, इन 2003 देखो हंस के बोल भी रहे, हाँ ऐसे ही है, 30 days was taken in 2003।
बोलूं ऐसी बातों पे?
अरे रवि जी आप सुन लीजिए ना, 10-15 सेकंड, 10-15 सेकंड, मैंने नाम नहीं लिया किसी का, मैंने आई डिडंट, इफ यू नोटिस आई हैव नॉट टेकन एनीबॉडीज नेम, पर जो रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहा है वो बता रहा है। इन 2003 it took 30-31 days and in 2025 when we have better technology it is taking 30-31 days, 32 days, same amount of time। And finally I have not got answer to 2 questions. One is that Aadhaar was very bad in 2021. Shashi Tharoor and all the noted leaders including Manish Tiwari, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary were screaming ke mat link karo voter ID se. How today Aadhaar should become basis of citizenship? And finally, Anand ji, don't you know one thing? You are saying that you will ask question of Sanjay Jha. Last time Sanjay asked a question, he got suspended. तो संजय एंड क्वेश्चंस डोंट गो टुगेदर।
I'll tell you what.
संजय ने पार्टी से क्वेश्चन पूछा, सस्पेंड हो गया। सो ही इज टची अबाउट क्वेश्चंस। आनंद जी आप बाकी मेरा समय ले लो और क्वेश्चन पूछते रहो।
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. See, these swipes at each other, are okay. But I think there should be, you guys are all have the wisdom to rise above that. Every time the swiping.
No, Anand Ranganathan, I have 10,000 differences with Anand Ranganathan.
Sir.
But how dare somebody says he has no right to question?
No.
He has all right to question
Correct,
BJP,
sir. That is
any
my job.
party.
That is my job.
We have to answer to him.
That is my job to intervene. You have taken exception.
But this is unnecessary attacking of Anand.
Rather than swiping left and right, let's just move forward. So let's just scroll forward. Let's use that. Can we set that aside and come back to the argument, please? Ravi ji, the question, sir, is that today an Aadhaar card, if it belongs to a non-resident Bihari, should that person get the, when I say Bihari means anybody who is domiciled in Bihar. So non-resident Bihari, should they have the right to vote in Bihar? Can a Nepali, can an Irishman, can a Pakistani, can anybody? There are people who have, because it's a proof of identity that you reside in India. And there is a biometric system that allows you to identify that you are. So can they get a voter card? How is that fair?
Anand
ji.
If an intruder has an Aadhaar card, it means it is fake.
नहीं सर,
यही बात है ना।
नहीं सर, इंट्रूडर नहीं सर, मैं आपको वही कह रहा हूँ। थे दो बात, एक कि दैट पर्सन इज नॉट एन इंट्रूडर, दैट पर्सन इज रिसाइडिंग इन दिस कंट्री but has an Aadhaar card because it's an identity proof that this is who I am an Irish person. See, okay, he's got the Aadhaar card of an Irish person.
Many people
no,
Doctor, NRI Americans have an Aadhaar.
Yeah, Dr. Ranganathan is showing NRI OCIs have an Aadhaar. So that's one case, that he's hit the name, it's an Irishman who's got an Aadhaar, so he's showing that. The other case is, sir, मान लीजिए कोई तो सर एक सेकंड बस 10 सेकंड और दीजिए, कोई तो ये इधर
सवाल छोटा होना चाहिए, जवाब
सॉरी सर, मैं आप थोड़ा इंडल्ज कीजिए। कोई असम में से घुस गया, असम बांग्लादेश से असम आया, वहां आधार बना लिया, डुबरी उबरी में बनाया, फिर इधर आया बिहार, अपना एड्रेस चेंज करा लिया, ये तो बहुत पॉसिबल है, ऑनलाइन किया जा सकता है, तो वो कैसे जेन्युइन वोटर हो गया सर?
बिल्कुल नहीं, कोई भी गलत दस्तावेज का बना के फेक आधार, फेक वोटर कार्ड, कुछ भी, किसी को कोई अधिकार नहीं है वोट करने का।
करेक्ट,
बिल्कुल स्पष्ट बात।
तो फिर आधार को आधार कैसे बनेगा?
आप मुझे जवाब देने दीजिए।
जी बोलिए।
भाई देखिए, मैं उतना विद्वान नहीं हो सकता हूं आनंद जी, दोनों हमारे रिस्पेक्टेड पैनलिस्ट ने पॉइंट आउट किया है इस बात को, ठीक है, मैं मानता हूं, लेकिन शायद मैं अपनी बात ठीक से रख नहीं पाया।
ठीक है, बोलिए।
इसलिए उनको ऐसा लगा होगा।
I did not
अभी कुछ दिन पहले या तो आपके चैनल पे या कहीं और ये इट वाज रिपोर्टेड दैट देयर इज एन ओवर बर्डन ऑन द ऑफिसेस
वी सेड इट हियर,
आवासीय प्रमाण पत्र which is used for voter card.
Yeah, especially in the Simachal regions where nearly 10 lakh requests have come to the fore. That was reported, yes.
है ना, आवासीय is in the list of 11 documents.
हाँ,
और आवासीय के लिए आधार बन रहा था, मतलब आधार के आधार पे आवासीय बन रहा था। आवासीय रेजिडेंशियल सर्टिफिकेट वाज बीइंग इशूड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ आधार, एंड व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज व्हेन आधार इज फेक, then the residential proof will also be fake,
because then the Aadhaar
voter card will also be fake.
Sir, that
so
is
this entire exercise of intensive review is
sir,
in
just because you submit your Aadhaar card, you don't get Avasiya.
Exactly.
You don't get Avasiya just because you have submitted an Aadhaar card. You have to, no sir, you have to prove that this Aadhaar was issued in Bihar and to a person who has resided in Bihar, and the time of making of this Aadhaar card, that person resided in Bihar for the period of domicile. अब वो 5 साल है, 10 साल है, हर स्टेट का अलग होता है, ये तो आप भी जानते हैं।
ओहो, if on the basis of fake Aadhaar card other documents are being issued, then that is problematic.
No,
this is my
see,
entire point.
Sir, this if and then wala, sir, if and therefore wala argument में, sir, ये तो है, that's a responsibility है elected. Okay, okay, sir, I have only 2 minutes left on the debate. I've got to move to the other one. I've got the guests are already waiting.
देखिए, either you understand or you.
No, I understand, sir. I can ask you the same question. Either आपको बुझा रहा है या फिर आप बूझ कर भी नहीं बुझा रहे हैं। तो अब हम क्या बोल रहे हैं? पर एक मिनट
मैं बोल रहा हूं,
एक मिनट संजय जी वांटेड टू मेक अ कमेंट।
मुझे चुप करा रहे हैं?
नहीं, चुप नहीं कर रहा हूं सर, 2 ही मिनट है, इसीलिए सबको एक मिनट बांट रहा हूं सर, थोड़ा डेमोक्रेसी की कोशिश कर रहा हूं। यस संजय जी।
Yeah, I want to make 2 short points, Anand. I think other points have already been articulated before. Number one, this is very reminiscent of the way the Jharkhand election campaign was done by the BJP. You remember the entire campaign of the BJP was done on this massive paranoid, fear being created in people that Bangladesh illegal immigrants were going to be the big voters in Jharkhand. And you saw the result, and I can tell you they are trying to create the same bogey all over again. Point number 2, this is all part of their voter consolidation strategy. Point number 2, I come from Bihar. I haven't, lived there in the last decade or so, but I can tell you this for a fact, that in Bihar, like it or not, look at the caste survey, we talked about it as well. In Bihar, computer literacy, access to electricity, expecting people to download forms and upload documents, especially for migrants who may not be there in Bihar when the enumeration is done, could result in a huge level of disenfranchisement. And I think that is a colossal challenge. And I think the bottom line, Anand, is this. Let me repeat that on behalf of the entire opposition. The opposition is not objecting to the special intensive, registration of voters. What they're objecting to is the extremely awful timing They should have given it more time, started
Right.
it a lot earlier with adequate notice. Point number two, they should have allowed all the documents to be accepted. And I'll agree with you that if there is a foreigner holding an Aadhaar card, in the purview of the questions that the election commission is supposed to ask, they would discover what minor percentage
Correct.
of those are violating that particular
Okay.
law. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, final word. Come
No,
to
I just wanted to say Raviji is misplaced. I never commented on his education. In fact, I said the opposite. I said he's very erudite. I just said that what you said was wrong, Raviji. What you said was there are some who might not have any document. I'm saying in that case, you cannot vote. That's what I said.
I'll tell you also, as we wind up, so as you had to say something. 10
Very
seconds. I'll give
small
you.
point that there were 11 PILs filed. All of them questioned the validity of SIR. And here you have somebody who's suspended in status and perhaps in logic saying that we didn't challenge it. When elections are around the corner and Telangana se 22 lakh votes ki application dal dete hain, that time the timing is all good and perfect.
Okay.
Now the timing is very
Right.
bad. So I don't understand how to deal with the suspended logic.
Here's how the election commission has decided to do a special intensive revision. Why can't all political parties turn this problem into an opportunity? This is the time for their karyakartas to go door to door and help everybody fill up their enumeration
तो
form.
जाएंगे ना।
इससे बढ़िया प्रचार क्या होगा?
होंगे
They
तो
just have to
जाएंगे।
get down to work. That's all they need to do. Put in the hard yards.
Only
On that
problem
note, I have to wind up.
Karyakartas
Have to
are
wind
more than the voters.
Have to wind up. Thank you very
10
much.
seconds,
Thank you very
last
much.
वाला 10 seconds नहीं देंगे आनंद जी.
अरे बाबा, next time sir, संजय जी next time दे देंगे next time. मैं बहुत लेट हो गया हूँ. The other guests are already waiting. Thank you very much. Namaste. Let's get a move on. Bharat's aviation watchdog, the DGCA, has ordered urgent safety inspections of all Boeing 737 and 787 aircraft in the country following a shocking revelation in the preliminary report on the Air India crash in Ahmedabad, the AI-171 AAIB report. According to investigators, just seconds after takeoff, both engine fuel switches moved from run to cutoff, causing a total loss of thrust. Although it says it transitioned from run to cutoff, but the AAIB has so far failed to clarify whether the transition was mechanical or manual. So that's the question. Whether it was manual or mechanical, they have refused to clarify on that. So that still remains an ambiguous zone. Now, alarmingly, this exact risk was flagged by the US FAA back in 2018, citing a potential fault in the fuel control switch locking system. But since it was a non-mandatory advisory, airlines like Air India never implemented the fix, and now the DGCA has given the airlines a July 21 deadline to complete full inspections. But the big question remains, why did it take a deadly crash to act on a warning that is 7 years old? Meanwhile, RTI data reveals a recorded 65 in-flight engine shutdowns since 2020. That means almost one every month. In every single case, pilots managed to safely land the aircraft using one functioning engine. The data further shows that between 1st of January 2024 and May 31st, 2025, there were 11 mayday calls from pilots due to various mid-air glitches, forcing emergency landings. Now, what the AAIB report says, these are the questions. Big holes in the explanation, which begs the question, is there an attempt to fix the responsibility of this tragedy onto a human error, whereas evidence of the past, instructions, advisories and all point otherwise? Captain Sam Thomas, President Airlines Pilot Association of India, ALPA, Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar, former senior pilot, A320 Indigo, also with us. I think he still flies, so he's not a former pilot, he still flies. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. Captain Sam Thomas, you took exception to certain points of the AIRB report. You wanted it signed. You were also asking where is the full details about the pilots and why is it that there was a certain intent to try and blame it on a human error. Your thoughts when these advisories start flowing?
Good evening, Anand. First of all, I used to think my job is tough, but I was just watching your program about 5 minutes back. I have renewed respect for you. Great job.
No, thank you. And thank you for your patience. Apologies for the delay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Not a problem. There were 5 points on which we said that we are not happy with the AAIB report. And before that, we had said that no to speculation. We'll tell you one by one as to how these came to the point where we are now at the moment. So point number 1 is it was released in the middle of the night at about 1 o'clock, the report. Second, the US media had this report prior to anyone in India having it. Three, the CVR, one line CVR data released is simply insinuating the pilots. Four is the non-qualified personnel in AAIB. And five, the worst of all, giving a clean chit to the OEM even before you end the preliminary report. These are the five reasons which are clear that there is a tendency, not for the first time, not for the second time, for the 100th time. And this, like we said, is not our first rodeo. We've been here for a long, long time. It is the narrative for the OEM, the country of manufacture, everybody to come here and straight away insinuate the pilots. What we are objecting to is, as Indian and particularly as ex-armed forces personnel, please don't fall prey to that. If you can't do the job, leave it, go home. But don't insinuate the pilots. And the second part we will discuss a little later on the speculation.
Sure. Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar and Captain Thomas, the other thing is, one of the lines in that it said that both of them run to cut off, transitioned in 1 second. Now, you both have flown multiple aircraft. Is it possible for the pilot flying or the pilot monitoring to transition these two switches in 1 second manually? Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar. Why couldn't
No,
they?
I don't think so.
So then why couldn't they very clearly said whether this transition happened manually or mechanically? They have not said that. Ji.
That's what Captain Sam Thomas has brought out. There's so many things which is missing. First of all, the data is not complete. You have given only engine data. What about the CVR data as per the Annex 13, Chapter 7? The dissemination of data has to be there. Where is the CVR data? There are two lines paraphrasing. One is that did you cut off or no? The other said no, I didn't. The other one is Mayday. You see that last one? One of the pilots transmitted Mayday. What does that mean? One of the pilots. You know the CVR, you know pilot and co-pilot or left seat or right seat. Their channels are different, recordings are different. You can easily make out who is transmitting, whether it is left seat pilot or right seat. Everything you can find out. Any time when your engines are switched off, there are a whole lot of warnings come up in the cockpit. The oral warning comes up, everything comes up. Where is the CVR for that? So when you can give timelines for the engine shutdown and the engine relight everything, why can't you give a timeline for a CVR to rest these doubts regarding whether it was the fuel cutoff switches were transitioning, was it the malfunction of the signal, or was it some TCMA fault which has given the signal to FedEx to shut down the engine? You should come out with the details to corroborate the theory that it is what you are pointing fingers indirectly to the pilot. What is this? Why can't you say, okay, fine, that this is one, so these are the CVR transcript, this is the engine one, obviously that's one, but still you are directly blaming the pilot has done because they're not there to defend themselves.
No,
so manually you cannot. It is within 1 second you cannot.
So manually it can't transition.
One second it's not possible.
It's not, because they mentioned 1 second. If it was not possible in 1 second, why did they mention 1 second?
But to ask the AI provided.
Yeah, the other thing, Captain Thomas, is they have identified who was the pilot flying, who was the PIC or the pilot in command, and who was the pilot monitoring. It is mentioned in point number 12 in the report. It is mentioned there. After that, why switch to P1, P2 and be ambiguous about who's P1, who's P2?
This is exactly what we are trying to say, Anand. Use expert pilots, use serving pilots in the civil realm, because there are lots of things that I can explain to you from here that how it could have transitioned. Now I use the term transition not for the cutoff switches. I'm talking of, suppose I were to fly with a junior co-pilot and on rotation I have an issue. So the first thing I'm going to say, I have controls, despite him being the pilot flying.
Yeah.
So there are various things that only serving pilots or pilots who have operated this airplane or similar airplane can come out with. So now by putting out just one line of the CVR, it is dictated. The term transition, we've been telling right from the beginning. The report came at 1:30. At 6:30, we had an interaction where I said, hey, I know, I have an FAA license, I have a DGCA license. This English is not Indian. The Indian would have written the fuel control switches moved or were moved. But this transition, and once again we say switches are binary, on and off. Valves transition from position A to position B via A1, A2, A3, A4. So the transition word is for the valve. Now, I'm telling you this, I do not want to confuse the listeners with a lot of technicalities. Unfortunately, this is a 787 and it is nothing but a heap of technicality. The FADEC has authority over that valve. FADEC has no authority over the fuel control switches. The switches have to be cut off manually. Somebody has done it. Why have they done it? At what stage have they done it? You need the actual timestamps and you need the corroborating CVR data with the ATC transcript and everything else to find out the truth. If you release bits of data, it's mischievous. It's mischievous. Do not do it.
See, if it has been very clearly dictated, have there been deliberate gaps also been left? See, one of the lines which stayed with me is that the moment the aircraft hit 180 knots, immediately the fuel cutoff transmission happened. See, that's how it is worded. In that they say it takes the takeoff speed of 150 knots, goes up to 153 knots, and at takeoff, a moment it hits 180 knots, suddenly the transition happens, and the transition happens of the engines, one switch after the other in 1 second. So, what does that imply then? And if an AAIB report, then the AAIB has also come out and said, Captain Bhatnagar, that this is as per international norms. If you look at any other aircraft crash internationally, this is how the preliminary AAIB report looks.
But that is only when you come out with the correct thing. You are being ambiguous. You're not putting the complete thing. I'm not saying that. CVR transcript is supposed to be given to corroborate the effect, what you're giving about the engine, what performance. What about at the takeoff? The pilot monitoring has to call out the speeds as well. Where is that? Whether the 100th rotation, whether all these V1 and all, everything speeds are called out. That is how you corroborate your thing about the engine failure or the transitioning of the switches. First of all, start from the takeoff roll itself. Then you will come to know what exactly sequence of the event. Where was the pilot? Where is the positive rate climb? Did the pilot give the climb? The positive rate climb, with the call come, where the call for positive rate, then the pilot monitoring is looking inside to waiting for the aircraft to clear the ground and get the VSI and the altimeter showing a positive climb and then give positive rate call. That is a very important call where the pilot monitoring and the pilot flying then directs the pilot monitoring to raise the landing gear up. Where is that call? Whether the call was given or not, or after that, then another thing which when US media is saying that TCMA malfunction, the air to ground logic, they have put it specifically that this transition, the air to ground, also ground to air took place. So that to rule out any possibility of a TCMA, that is thrust control malfunction accommodation, which send the signals to the FADEC in case the weight on wheel switch is malfunctioning. Weight on wheel switch is the moment weight is off and the carries it is transit from the ground mode to the air mode so that the throttles doesn't roll back. Where is that? It is international norm, but corroborate with the engine failure. When did the rat come out? Where is the timing for the rat? It says suddenly the rat come out immediately. No. Every second is important. Rat comes out automatically.
No, the rat timing is mentioned. I don't have the copy of the report. At the bottom it is mentioned that it is.
The time is not mentioned. No, the time is not
sir,
mentioned.
at the bottom under the picture, I remember the RAT comes
above
out.
the picture.
Above the picture. Yeah, that time is and above and below the picture also there is a time code where there is a 3 or 4 second difference, 80842 and 80847, I think, or 43 and 47.
Yeah, that is APU. That is APU code switch.
Yeah, and just above that, they say that the rat drops at that time. So there is a.
It says the CCTV footage obtained from the airport shows that rat getting deployed during the initial climb immediately after liftoff.
Correct.
Now, immediately after liftoff was 4 seconds gap when the engine rolled back.
Correct. So at 808, 808, 33 or 808, 42, that's when they say that there is the indication of the rat, and at 47 they say the APU is deployed. So that's the 4 second gap. That's because they have not exactly mentioned the time code of rat, but they have indicated around between what secondage or what time in those 4 or 5 seconds. That's what they've done.
Again, I'm saying what Captain Sam Thomas is saying. See that wordings of it. See, rat hydraulic pump began supplying hydraulic power at about 080847.
Yeah.
This is not the extension time, sorry.
Well, it's not the extension
before that. Extension is before that. An extension RAT drops immediately because as far as what knowledge I have got, 787, the moment engines, both fuel supply is cut off, the RAT automatically deploys. It's automatically, unlike
So
Airbus
if that is the
320,
case,
you
why
have to
is
press
it not mentioned? See, I am not a
You
flight.
asked, that's what I'm
I have
saying.
no flight experience, sir. I'm
This is what I'm saying.
I'm an
The
absolute
rat-
lay person. But when I read
The
that, it
moment-
just looked like that they are going to absolve everyone, blame no one, and yet allow anybody to make whatever inference they want. Let's say it all happened in the cockpit. Now
See,
that
you
is an
can-
indirect reference
that's
that
what I'm saying.
it is somewhere a human error.
Exactly,
So you
Anand. This
can-
is exactly our point. And I'm
That is
sorry,
what the
sir.
thing is.
It's exactly our point. Three of us are sitting here. Two of us have flown. You, I'm sure, have covered a lot of aviation. You know what we're talking about. See the ambiguity within us. Now, when you put one letter or one line there, do you see what the traveling public is going through? What we were telling about speculation is what has done so much damage, where one gentleman has very categorically said that the pilot,
No, the
did this.
international headlines just took that line. Did you cut the
Yes,
fuel
yes.
off? And then they
Yes.
turned it about the pilot. That's what they. Why
Yes.
give that? Why just give that one particular line?
Trust me, it is not by error. It is by design. I have been here for long enough. Captain Bhatnagar will know. Maybe certain people can't say it. I can say it. I know how the system works. This is not the way to do. And what about the standard that you're talking about, that this is the way preliminary reports are given?
Yeah,
Let me
that's what
give-
they've claimed. The AAIB sources and government sources said this is check any international AAIB report. First 30 days, this is how the report is. It meets international standards.
Dissemination
Very
of
good.
data is very clearly mentioned in Annex 13, Chapter 7. I will tell you the paragraph. Dissemination of data. Where is the data? Full data. Only engine. And that's a RAT. I say RAT is the moment RAT comes out, the DFDR catches the time exact. Hydraulic
Yes.
pump starts later on when the RAT picks up the speeds. That is why you ask any pilot what time the RAT comes, and hydraulic pump is comes later on. The moment it is out of housing, immediately the signal goes to the DFDR that RAT has come out. RAT coming
Yes.
out and supplying the hydraulic power is 6 to 7 seconds minimum.
Correct.
If the APU takes 60 to 70 seconds.
Yeah,
to
you
come
mentioned
on.
about this. RAT comes out in 6
Yes.
to 7 seconds. Well, first,
That's
when
what
we
I'm
had this
saying.
conversation, you said APU takes about 60 to 90 seconds, but the RAT
Absolutely.
comes out.
So you see the
in 6
rectified,
to
the
7
APU door is open. APU, see, that means that the both engines simultaneously, when the fuel supply was shut off, this thing has happened automatically. That's what I was reading in 787. The RAT comes out automatically and the APU starts.
Correct.
Because
And
of the general power.
if they know what the pilots said to each other, they would have got the entire recording.
Absolutely. Just give us,
So-
just
so
come out
then,
with the signal
so then
recording.
why? See, this is where all these suppositions and then they say we need more probe. You have all the data, you have not divulged that, and you need more probe. And there is no dissemination of data. There are no signatories also, Captain Thomas. There is nobody
That
signed
is-
that report.
Yes. Who signed that report?
Yes.
Among three of us, we could have written that report.
Absolutely.
So does anybody take accountability? Once again, Anand, not by error. This is written because the guy who wrote it, the guy who dictated it, the guy who wrote it knew I am writing something erroneously. If I am caught, I will be hung. So he has decided to leave it there. And we can go on and on about it.
Yeah.
I do not support that organization. And we need much more than what is presently being served
See,
to us.
the other thing is, look at the number of advisories that have gone. Pilot should not have a third person in the cockpit. That advisory went across multiple airlines. That happened. Then the DGCA issues saying fuel control switches, start checking it. Boeing sends out a thing, look at the soldering of the fuel control switches, soldering of the fuel control switches. There
Why
are
is
so
that
many...
in the report? Why is that in the report? Why have you included that in the report? You have no concern about this fuel control switches. Why did you include that in the preliminary report? Secondly, the day this crash took place,
Right.
next day, DGCA ordered some checks.
Yeah.
Kindly go through those checks. Why
Correct.
is Etihad making
That's what I'm saying. The day
Yes.
this report, within 24 hours before, on the day, and for 24 hours after, in that time, so many advisories have come that all say that somewhere related to what is made into the report or what is not made into the report. Anyway, gentlemen,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for coming out and voicing the concerns. We had to put this side out of the story also, and there is a lot of grey areas. Let's hope we get the answers very, very soon. Namaste.
Presented by. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
I'm Shubhanshu Shukla. I'm the mission pilot for Axiom 4 mission. And I think it is great to be in space. It was kind of a cycle. I would say initially 1 or 2 days was not so good. You were kind of adjusting to microgravity, but after that, it grows on you every day. And the longer you stay, the more you like it. And it is so much of fun being here, looking back at the Earth and just enjoying all the different settings and environment of space.
Hi, it's Tibor, and it's really nice to talk to you. It has been so much fun, as Shux said. We started right with the launch, which was, I think, the best 8.5 minutes of our lives. I could do it any day, that's for sure. And ever since we have been here, we had the warmest welcome from the crew that has been up here already. And in the past 2 weeks, we have been conducting so much research and so much science, which has been actually the biggest fun. In fact, I was almost late from this conversation because I had a physics experiment right before this, but Peggy would have been really mad at me. So try to make sure I'm here.
Tell us about some of the research that you will be doing and what would be groundbreaking about it, in your opinion?
I represent Poland and the European Space Agency as well, and Europe. Polish companies and universities and science institutes have for the first time the opportunity to conduct science on the ISS. Together with ESA, we prepared a big scientific complement for the mission, and this is the main focus: science and technology demonstrators. We've been one of the most exciting experiments that we prepared from the Polish side was, for example, we demonstrated the first brain-machine interface in space. That was for the first time ever done. So a direct measurement from the human brain and then interpreted by the computer to perform certain actions. So this is one, but also the scientific complement is a big variety. We have experiments on nanotechnology, on science. Yeah, of course. Here you go.
Swav can talk a lot about science, so. But we all love it. I'm also a science geek, and I think one of the new investigations that we're trying on this mission, Axiom 4, is looking to make it possible for diabetics to fly in space in the future. We're testing out hardware and equipment and the capabilities that would keep someone with diabetes safe up in space. Of course, my favorite is actually the cancer study, where we're testing a couple of drugs to see if we can stop triple-negative breast cancer from replicating, and it's got some very exciting results.
Tibor, you're only the second astronaut from your country. There's a lot of pressure on you. They'll be expecting some of those experiments on Earth as well. But how important is it then for your country?
It is extremely important, and as you mentioned, I'm not the only one as a second national astronaut, but also Shux and Swav representing the same kind of class as well. We have been the seconds from our countries as national selected astronauts, and all these countries have been waiting 40 years to come back to space as a former astronaut. It's a huge responsibility, but also a huge privilege on us. Now that we have been doing this mission, it's actually a new access for us to space.
Captain, I want to ask you, this mission is so important to your country, India. What are your thoughts on the recent news that the Gaganyaan mission has been postponed until 2027? Are you still hopeful that more can be done with this mission in terms of testing in this calendar year?
Yes, Paula, I think, first of all, this mission comes at a very crucial time for us, and I think it is very aptly placed. As you mentioned, we are on our own journey for human spaceflight mission, the mission Gaganyaan, and a lot of progress has been made. A lot of test missions have been conducted, and we were looking for certain test missions to be done this year and next year as well. Since I'm on station and I'm busy with a lot of experiments and research out here, I may not have the exact update on what's happening as per the timeline of the test events. But I do agree that this mission plays a very important role for us, because witnessing a human spaceflight mission end to end from launch till recovery gives you insights which I will take back with me and would be able to apply for our own journey back home in India.
Peggy,
Hello, namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Is the war in Ukraine set to escalate? We ask because Donald Trump is giving more weapons to Ukraine and in a stunning twist, he's threatening sanctions on Vladimir Putin. What explains this U-turn? What are Trump's new secondary sanctions aimed at Russia? And how could they hit India's oil and defense supplies? We'll discuss all of this. Also, the first Indian astronaut on the